Happy New Year 2016. We are here at New York Public Library at Interfaith breakfast from May's office. Africa Vision TV was invited specifically to come to cover this wonderful event. We have people from everywhere. We have imams, we have a rabbi, we have a priest, we have pastors, we have all people in different corners of the world who believe in God. We even have non-believers, because today is Interfaith breakfast, which organized by May's office, New York City. We are here to witness this wonderful day. I'm Claudine, your reporter today. Peace. Here at Interfaith Black.
If we see it, we call out the cancer so we can eradicate it. And that makes us stronger. And that gives people on the ground in all our neighborhoods faith that we have that commitment to them, that whatever their background, they are equally honored and embraced here. And we mean to deepen that work. We're very proud of the first 2 years of our work, but we have only just begun, and the deepening of that work involves all of you. I want to express to you a deeply held value that Charlene and I have. And it's one that should not be controversial, but in some ways, I think, unfortunately, has become so over the years. You may have heard from time to time we consider ourselves progressives. As progressives, we believe in changing people's lives. You can't change people's lives if you don't engage and work deeply with faith communities. It is as simple as that. And some people, and I don't in any way belittle them for this, but some people have come to see quote-unquote separation of church and state as a reason to keep some distance from faith communities. Well, our interpretation is very different. Separation of church and state indicates a government that will perform its roles fairly and equally towards all communities, towards people who have a particular faith background and people who don't choose any faith equally. And it means that each part of our society plays different roles. But it does not suggest for a moment that we shouldn't fully and deeply stand shoulder to shoulder to do this work, because we can't do it well enough without you. We just can't. And that's why this gathering is so important. If we're going to keep taking on income inequality, if we're going to keep driving down crime, if we're going to keep eradicating bias, you are the necessary allies in that struggle. And I don't believe in the past the government of this city, or probably any other, has fully tapped into the extraordinary energy and insight and capacity of our faith leaders. So we aim to do better. We aim to go farther in that effort. There's a lot that we need to do, and I'll be very quick. But I want you to know, I appreciate deeply the definition of faith that Reverend Sharpton offered. We believe that part of how we get somewhere is to declare the goal, even if we don't always know every piece of the equation that will get us there. Declare the goal and believe that together we can find the path. I will admit to you that on the first day of this administration, when we said we were going to get close to 70,000 kids in full-day pre-K within 2 years, there were some doubting Thomases in my own ranks. From time to time, I found myself doubting. But we said there is no more important and noble goal if we're going to build a future better city, and if we're going to actually create equality and opportunity. And we had faith. And so many of you became our partners in that endeavor, and let the record show that pre-K for all worked. And it worked in part because we worked so closely with faith communities and with religious schools. We had common cause. Well, brothers and sisters, today in New York City, every single child who needs pre-K gets it for free. And thank you for all you did to make it possible. We said we would show an embrace of immigrants against, again, a backdrop of a discussion that has gone awfully awry. By the way, we are a nation of immigrants, we are a city of immigrants. All our greatness derives from being a place of immigrants for generations upon generations. Who missed that formula? Who didn't get the memo that immigration made us great? So here we said one of the ways that we will express our embrace and our support for all immigrants is to give them the same respect, the same acknowledgement that folks have who happen not to be immigrants. We wanted to show the same respect for people who are undocumented human beings as those who were documented. And we said, well, let's get everyone documented. And we called it ID NYC. And I like to make fun of Commissioner Nisha Agarwal because she thought about 100,000 people would take advantage of it in the first year, but it's over 700,000 people have an ID NYC right now. Now this, I'm going to be quick, but this is one of the examples I want to give of not only the big changes we can make together, but very practical things you can help us with as well. Because I will be honest with you, until I had the honor of serving in this office, I did not fully understand that not only was an ID card crucial to getting a lease or a bank account, but it was Bill Bratton who helped me understand that an ID card makes the work of our police so much better. If someone has an ID, it allows the police to handle them so much more positively and easily than if someone doesn't. So, brothers and sisters, here's an easy mandate for 2016. It's available, it's free, anybody can get it. Please tell all the members of your congregations, tell everyone that you reach, if they do not have an ID card, if they don't walk around with an ID card, take a few minutes, get an ID NYC, and it will make their life better. It will make all our lives better. That's something we can do together. And I mentioned, I'll just make one more point on police because it's so important. We, again, we together, all of us, driving down crime is first and foremost something we look to the men and women of the NYPD to do, but we also know that neighborhood residents, that block patrols and tenant patrols make a difference, that this is all of us together driving down crime. The police precinct councils make a difference. It is a communal effort. The police are the guardians of the community, just like I always say, in the villages we all came from once, back in our ancestry. Guardians were chosen in each village to protect the village. The police are the guardians of our very large village, that is New York City. We have an opportunity in 2016. Now that we have shown what can be done, that we can drive down crime, we can bring the police and community closer together, we are on the dawn of a whole new age now with neighborhood policing. And the plan that Commissioner Bratton and Chief O'Neill are putting in place, we're going to see the thing that so many of us have dreamed of literally for decades, neighborhood policing. The cop on the beat who knows the clergy, who knows the neighborhood leaders, who knows the shopkeepers, and the connection and the deep flow of information, the respect, the partnership that can grow out of that. That is beginning as we speak, and it will go farther with you. So in 2016, I'm asking you to get to know the new leaders of the NYPD in your communities, to get to know the folks who are driving neighborhood policing in each of your precincts, to invite clergy into your houses of worship. Excuse me, clergy, you are clergy. To invite police. I figured that one out. You should also invite clergy. To invite police leadership and the police officers who serve the community into your houses of worship so they get to meet your congregants. So they get to know your faith and how crucial it is to the wellness of your community. That's the kind of thing we can deepen in 2016. I will just say a couple other quick things. You've heard from some of the previous speakers what we're trying to do with affordable housing. A lot of you played a crucial role in that effort, and a lot of you have organizations that build affordable housing, and I want you to know, if you haven't heard it from me before, I'll say it again. We are open for business. We want to build and build and build. We want to preserve affordable housing, and we need you to do it. So anyone in this room who is in the affordable housing business as part of your ministry, come see us, because there's so much we can do together. We need to reach people and help them to better their lives. The fight against income inequality is about raising wages and benefits. It's about reducing the costs that people are burdened by, like housing. We together, many people in this room, fought for paid sick leave. 500,000 more people got paid sick leave in the last 2 years because of your great efforts. And that makes a lot of difference in their lives. We need to fight together for a $15 minimum wage. We need to change the assumptions about what people deserve. And I'm very proud, by the way, of the announcement we made in the last week or two, that starting with 20,000 of our city workers, and hopefully someday soon all of our city workers, will have paid parental leave, so family can truly be respected. So those are a number of the things where we know we're making a difference, and with you we're going to make a deeper difference in 2016. I want to spend a moment on one more issue, because it's one that I know everyone feels deeply. We know we have a challenge with affordable housing. We know we have a challenge also with homelessness, and the two go together. The two go together. And it's so important that we look this truth in the face. We know there was a moment in our history 3 or 4 decades ago where we started to see people living on the streets. And we hadn't seen that for a while in any appreciable number. Go back to the 1930s, you had the Hoovervilles during the Great Depression. Then there was a period of relative prosperity, and people didn't live on the streets, thank God. But starting in the 70s and 80s, it started to happen. And then it was mainly single men, and it was mainly people with mental health challenges and substance abuse challenges. And there were a lot of them, and it was a problem. And we all worked together to do something about it. And we made some progress, but never enough. But then the Great Recession happened. And the Great Recession changed everything, and we need to look this in the face because the Great Recession changed the rules of the game for so many New Yorkers. And wages and benefits just didn't keep up with the cost of living, and somehow simultaneously the cost of housing kept going up and up and up. Think about the whipsaw that people found themselves in, where wages and benefits were stagnant, where jobs were lost, but the cost of housing just kept escalating. That's what happened in the last 5 or 10 years in this city. So the fact is today, and I want to make clear people have these numbers right, we have 58,000 people in shelter. 58,000. That's 58,000 too many. But they're in shelter, and they do have a place to go at night. Unlike so many other cities, sadly, that are dealing with the homelessness challenge and don't have the shelter capacity we do, we have a bed for anyone who wants it on any given night. There are still, however, 3,000 or 4,000 people who are on the streets 24/7. Again, with that group of people, that is more what we've seen in the past. Folks with mental health challenges, folks with substance abuse challenges, folks who aren't comfortable coming in off the streets. Now, you've probably heard in the last month we announced a new initiative called Homestat. It will be the single biggest homeless outreach effort in the history of this country by any city. We will be crisscrossing this city with outreach workers, working closely with NYPD to make sure that literally we contact each and every homeless person every day, and with a simple common message: come in off the streets. We have help for you. We have a safe place for you. We have mental health services for you. We have the cure to substance abuse. You know that no one will be better at spreading that message than all of you. And we need you to participate in particular in our Safe Haven initiative. And a lot of you are already, and I want to thank in particular the Archdiocese, which has played a leadership role, but we have more to do. Safe havens are the smaller, often faith-led facilities in a house of worship or associated with a house of worship or a nonprofit that give folks who are on the street a small, intimate, supportive environment to come into. A lot of folks on the street are not willing to go to a larger shelter, but they are willing to go to you because they trust you. They trust you. Cardinal Dolan and I visited a safe haven in the Bronx a few months ago. and I spoke to one of the Franciscan brothers who ran it. And he said, the reason people come in is because we respect their humanity. We see them as individuals. We know that each person had an